So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here joined by up-and-comer, really bright start to the UFC Women's Division. I have Cory McKenna. Cory, thank you so much for taking some time to join us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, hopefully how's that ankle feeling? Getting a little better?
Um, yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt anymore. It's just kind of inconvenient. I've still got a few weeks until I'm allowed to start trying to walk on it and everything. So it's gonna set me back a little bit, but I've got plenty of time, so I'm not too worried.
That's good. I mean, just take your time with that. Ankles suck. It's really annoying being all like kind of the weird kind of walk you have in the boot. I've been stuck in one too, so it's not the funnest, right?
Yeah, I definitely took a lot of things for granted. I didn't realize how inconvenient it was, but yeah, I'm getting by.
Exactly. But of course, for those that don't know, Cory is fairly new to the UFC. Of course, she competed first back on Dana White's Contender series back in August, won that fight in a phenomenal fight, and then had another really good fight most recently at UFC Vegas, Felder versus Rafael dos Anjos, where you would beat Kay Hansen in a unanimous decision. Also opening up as a slight underdog in both of them too. So credit to you for being able to kind of break your way in, Cage Warriors alum, making your way into the UFC. What's that whole kind of experience been like so far with you?
Yeah, it's obviously it's a dream come true. Like it's something I've been aiming towards since I started out. So for almost 10 years now. So to finally get it done is obviously a big accomplishment for me. Like I'm never too worried about like the whole underdog like or anything like that kind of thing. Just like I say, very excited to get in there. So the opportunity for obviously contenders was massive for me. Like I took that on short notice.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, and then yeah, and then obviously fought Kay Hansen and was just like I kind of cemented it. So yeah, looking forward to getting back in there, getting healed up, and going again.
So, of course, I think the first thing we have to ask when we had Justin James on recently, nicknamed the Guitar Hero, we had to talk about that. So, with you, your nickname Poppins, where does that nickname come from?
That is Uriah's. So obviously I was called the Hobbit, which was like a bit of like an old name from when I was competing as a junior,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuck. And then Uriah came up with it one day. I say came up with it. He was very excited. Poppins because I'm very proper. I'm British. He's always got me with the kids, so he's always like it fits. So yeah, Uriah was pushing it for probably about a year and a half, and then when he got me the contenders call up, I was like, okay, I'll change the name now, like as a thank you.
That's perfect. Of course, Uriah as in Uriah favorite, as you are a team alpha male athlete. So kind of have to ask, you're from the UK all the way over there across the pond, and then how did you make your way all the way out here, and how did you end up finding yourself within Team Alpha Male's gym?
Yeah, so like obviously this is always something that I've been very heavily involved with.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was younger and like starting to like get towards the end of my school, like my schooling kind of period, our family holidays became like arranged around like touring different gyms. Because we knew eventually like I'd probably look to branch out or find like a home away from home where I could get some
Mm-hmm.
different looks and kind of like that full-time professional training schedule. Because obviously I was looking to kind of go full time. So like the first trip I tried like a few different gyms. I went to like Team Alpha Male, I went to Glendale, I went to King's MMA, and then the next year I did a couple of weeks at ATT,
Mm-hmm.
and then just kind of like for my 18th birthday, my parents were like, right, because I was planning to turn pro at like literally I was like, I'm gonna turn 18, I'm gonna go pro.
Mm-hmm.
So I had like my pro debut kind of planned out. So for my 18th birthday, my parents bought me like a training camp. So I came out here because I chose to come out from Mel of all the gyms we tried. I came out here for 8 weeks. The camp got cut short because I got
Mm-hmm.
injured. But yeah, and it kind of like came out. Like I say, I was on the mats like all day, every day. Built up a good kind of, kind of got on really well with the coaches. Built up
Mm-hmm.
a good kind of relationship with everybody in the gym, and just kind of started coming out 3 months on, 3 months off for the next 3 years, really. So that's
That
kind of how it went, and then obviously I'm here now.
that's one hell of a 18th birthday present. I mean, I feel like that has to really break into the category of being unique. I don't know very many people that have gone to a training camp for the birthday essentially. That's super cool. And then Team Alpha Male is real nice. We've had our first two interviews actually was with Coach Joey, of course the head boxing coach over there, and then big man still healing up too, but Josh Emmett. So it's nice to have you Team Alpha Male fighters because you're one of the best. Also, local guy. I'm still from Sacramento, so I got to represent a little bit.
Yeah. No, they're all awesome. Like I say, it's a great team.
It is.
Everyone helps everyone.
Mhm.
It's a great environment for me to be in. So I'm very fortunate and obviously grateful to be here.
Now let's kind of get a little more into your career path. So first off, what got you into MMA in the first place?
It started like karate, I think, like just as a hobby
Hmm.
when I was like 10. And then the school that I was at, obviously, I was there like 7 days a week doing karate. I was really kind of like pushing that. I was competing in that pretty much every weekend. And then they introduced like the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the boxing, and the Muay
Hmm.
Thai. So I started going along to that because it was just something else I could do to keep active. Obviously, ended up falling in love with that. Started competing in each of those disciplines. So when I got to about 13, I remember like talking to my dad and stuff, and we just kind of decided like obviously it's kind of the natural progression. I was already training everything, so he was like, "Why don't you give this a go?"
Hmm.
So we found a local MMA gym, and I went down, gave it a go, and kind of just fell in love with it, and never really looked back. I think I was there for 6, 7 years. I mean, I still go back and visit
Hmm.
regularly. Obviously, moved a bit now, but like my first ever MMA coach is still in my corner for every fight. So yeah, it's pretty cool for me.
So you've been talking a lot about your parents, how they've been really hands on and really helped you out finding your camp. Your dad helped get you into MMA. How much do you credit them to your now success in this sport?
Oh, I 100% wouldn't be where I am today without them. Like, I'm very fortunate. Obviously, they're very supportive. They were never like pushy or anything,
Hmm.
but anything I needed, like I had it. Like my dad would, and my mum, to be fair, would drive me like, we'd drive 4 hours to a jiu-jitsu competition. I'd have one match and then we'd drive home. But they knew that the experience was obviously very valuable for me. So they went above and beyond. Like, they gave up all the time. Like, I hate to think how much money they've put into me. Like yeah, I've just been very lucky from day one to have their support. But I always credit everything to them, really. I know a lot of people aren't that fortunate, but yeah, like they're nothing but supportive for me.
That's super cool. I guess with summer fights, you guys start trying to buy some real nice Christmas presents coming up. I guess, right?
Yeah, I definitely owe them more than some nice Christmas presents, but we'll get there. A few more fights.
Exactly. I feel like just start small. We'll work our way back. And then of course you before you made your way to the UFC, you had 5 fights with the Cage Warriors promotion, which is the top promotion there in Europe. With some really kind of big names that have come for their UFC fighters. I mean, most notably Conor McGregor. You've had the Count Michael Bisping, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, had some experience there. Dan Hardy, Bigfoot Silva. So how much would you contribute to your time in Cage Warriors, and how has your experience with that promotion kind of carried into the now UFC promotion?
Yeah, like I say, it's another thing I was very fortunate with. Obviously, made my pro debut on Cage Warriors, stuck with them for my entire pro career. It's like the largest platform in Europe, so
Mhm.
obviously kind of chucked in at the deep end a little bit, but also like it was invaluable experience for me. Um, like you say, I've not really had that big crowd lights and everything of like the UFC, but I get that with Cage Warriors, so it's not something that I've ever kind of missed, as opposed to being on these smaller local shows. So yeah, with Cage Warriors, like, you get up to you get that professional treatment, you get in like the fight pass, the TVs, like so it was a great opportunity for me. Like obviously, I'm very grateful for Ian and Graham for putting on my fights and everything. And yeah, it was an amazing platform. Like, I got to test myself against the top European talent, and put on some decent performances for well, hopefully decent performances for everybody.
They definitely have been more than decent. I give yourself a little more credit. Of course, you're just super humble. And then, what do you think the main difference, if there is any, between the two promotions are? Do you have one?
Uh, no, like I said, I haven't had that. Obviously, I've obviously fought in the UFC now, but like
Hmm.
it's not. I wouldn't say I've had the full experience because obviously fighting in the Apex, like no
Yeah.
crowd, everything's I've got a feeling it's probably a lot more chilled, like you say, with like the no crowds and everyone's just kind of in the hotel, everything's there, like
Yeah.
so I'm sure it'll be slightly different once everything opens back up. But like you say, Cage Warriors is very professionally run. You get like, you get the media stuff,
Mhm.
you get like the weigh-ins are run the same. Like you've got the lights, you've got the cameras, you've got everything. So I wouldn't say there's too much difference. Just like you say, there's that step up in perhaps the level. Well, obviously I'm fighting the highest level girls around the world
Of
now as
course.
opposed to just Europe. But there's no, I wouldn't say there's like too significant a difference really.
Gotcha. That totally makes a lot of sense. Then going back to your fight on the Contender series, going to that, there's a lot riding on the line with those fights. I mean, a contract essentially to, if we're being honest, the biggest and top dog in MMA, at least considered by the majority of people. So, did you feel a little bit of pressure going to that fight, or how did you handle that experience, especially being on short notice? Did you just kind of just take his opportunity and keep it at that?
I actually think, so like, I discussed this after the fight with a few people, and like a lot of people have said to me that perhaps the short notice thing was more of a positive for me because I'm a very critical over worker. Like, so it kind of like I have a terrible tendency to kind of like say like run myself into the ground, train too much, diet too strict, like. So I think the 3 week notice thing wasn't necessarily a negative thing. It actually kind of opened my eyes to perhaps like some changes that I made for this fight and for future fights. Like I realized that rest might not be the devil, but don't let my coaches know I admitted that.
Oh,
Um,
we'll censor that. We're just gonna cut that, right?
thanks. Yeah, but yeah, like so that didn't really change too much, and I kind of take every fight the same. Like I know it sounds cheesy, like everyone says it, but every fight is the biggest fight of your life. It's
Mhm.
everything's the next step up. So for me, I just approached it like another fight. If anything, it was more relaxed for me because, like, say, with the no crowds and everything, it just felt like
Mhm.
a sparring day. I had like, I had like three coaches that I'm really close with in my corner. We just had like a good time. Like, my friend actually came to Vegas with us, and we just kind of chilled around the hotel, laughing, joking, and just having fun. So to be fair, like it was actually super relaxed. It was there was no pressure at all.
That's super cool. And then with kind of being in a somewhat similar situation with the whole no crowds, kind of a lesser of a spectacle of an event, was your preparation and kind of a couple days before your debut onto the actual UFC roster itself. Was it similar to your Contender Series fight, or was there some larger differences?
Like with the again, like I said, the UFC, like the main difference, like obviously there was more media and
Hmm.
everything. But like obviously they said the setup was the same. We were in the same place, was the same people, like the exact same kind of like the show was run the exact same. It was even an earlier card, so it kind of like was the same as Contenders. So for me it kind of didn't feel too different. Like Jack, the guy that I have in my corner, the big bald guy, even he said it. He's like, it almost feels like we've done this already. So it's kind of like, it almost feels like it was like meant to be as such, which was pretty cool. So yeah, it's again super relaxed, like not too worried. Like the end of the day, I'd done 12 weeks of hard work, like with the top coaches, top
Hmm.
training partners. So um, I'd be a little concerned if I was worried going into it. I like to think that I'm well prepared by the time I get to my fights.
That's a really good point to make. Of course, you probably should be ready with that amount of time. But of course, for most fighters you hear about, especially Darren Till opened up a little recently like that. Do you kind of share that feeling where you get nervous before every fight, or do you just not? Are you just a little different? You don't really feel that.
No, I don't really get nervous to be fair. If anything, I get more nervous after it because I know I've
Mm.
got to be stuck in front of all the cameras and like try not to say something stupid when I'm tired. But no, like I don't really get nervous for the fights. That's what I spend my entire life training to do. So it's kind of something that I'm very comfortable with. Like I've had plenty of people tell me that, oh, you should get nervous, you should get this, and I'm like, I just don't. Like I enjoy it. Like I'm out there, I'm having fun. I'm doing what I love. Like not many people can say that, so I just kind of also like feel grateful when I get in there.
That's a really cool perspective to have. That I haven't heard one of the fighters say that yet, so that's really cool. A brand new kind of a point of view for this. And then next thing we want to do, something we do with everyone that we have on, we have is called our fighter favorites. So I got pretty much a list of 5 things. You want to run through that?
Okay.
So the
I
first,
feel there's pressure. I don't know. I'm gonna
you
forget
feel
everything.
pressure, more pressure at this and then in a fight, I'm sure, right?
Yeah,
So first thing, favorite food.
peanut butter.
That's a good one. Favorite music.
As in a genre or like a band.
Either. Let's see. Just give us what you think.
I like a lot of like rock and indie stuff,
Okay.
like alternative rock and indie.
Little specific band then.
My favorite's probably the Picture Detectives, and I'm gonna stick with that because they offered me a free ticket to their gig after my last fight.
Ooh. Okay. You gotta use. Is that a local band back in the UK?
I think they're from like Manchester. See, now you're testing me. Now I'm gonna get in
Ah.
trouble. Fake fan. They're from
Oh,
up north.
can we just
I've
say
listened.
UK just in
Yeah,
general?
they're
Yeah.
from the UK. Yeah, they're not too close to me, but they're not too far.
They're European. I think that's good enough. Next
Yeah,
thing, favorite
I listen to a
hobby.
lot of British bands.
British man. I
Sorry.
I would assume so. It
Mm,
only kind of makes sense. Let's see.
yeah,
Favorite hobby outside of fighting or combat sports.
probably my painting, I guess.
And we've seen like if you follow her on Instagram, which is
Uh, my main Instagram is Cory McKenna 99.
there.
But I've just started an art page, which
Ooh.
is Poppins paintings.
Oh, also follow that one as well because your art. I mean, also can we talk about the masks real quick?
Mm,
Those are some real nice, high quality stuff. I'm very impressed. Is that just a
thank you.
little thing that you picked up in the meantime during all this?
Well, it was like a kind of like a gesture. So for Fight Week, I made them for me and my three corner men.
Hmm.
We all had like I made custom masks for us, and then like a few people like piped up saying they wanted some. So yeah, I made a bunch. Like I took a few requests on colors, and I figured I'd sell some. I'm not making too much of a profit off of them, obviously, but if people want some, that'd be great.
Nothing like a little side hobby. Everyone, if you watch her mask, you know where to go. It's Cory McKenna right there. She is just a
There you
mass.
go.
Can call you the mass protege at this point too.
Hey, I'll take whatever you want to give me.
I'm okay with that. Next thing, let's talk about favorite TV show or movie.
Favorite favorite TV show, probably Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think it's the only thing that I've watched all the way through twice.
Twice.
That's funny.
That's
Yeah,
a good
I
show.
watched I watched it again with my friend during lockdown. I do really like that one. It's funny.
Mhm.
And then movie, it's a tough one, but probably Mary Poppins. And I'm not just saying that because of my nickname. Like I used to love that film as a kid. And then around this time of year, it's The Grinch.
The Grinch. Are we talking the animated or the live action?
The original.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, okay. Let's stick with that one then. Then last but not least, your favorite fighter.
It's really hard. Like people tell me all the time that I'm cringy for saying it, but it is probably Uriah. Not even just because of like his obviously I like his fight style, I
Mhm.
like how, but also from a coaching perspective and also from like his work ethic. Like I've seen firsthand how that guy works and how he like hustles. And it is inspiring. So like I kind of like I admire the people that obviously I see closer to me just
Mhm.
because you see a lot of fighters in there, but like I'm more inspired by like you say like the outside the gyms the fight stuff. Sorry, like the time in the gym, the work ethic, like and everything like that. So yeah, probably Uriah.
Hey, right, with the very, very nice shout out right there. You're just getting plenty of love this show. It's perfect. It's like, is he paying you? Or is he?
Uh, no, but to be fair, like I'm not paying him either, so
It's worth a shout out, then I think this is all mutual right here.
yeah.
So the next thing, there's our fighter favorites. And the next thing I want to talk about, of course, you're recovering from that ankle injury, which we all know about. But once that's all said and done, you're able to move on from that. What do you think is next for you in the fight game? Do you have like someone you want to fight next? Do you have kind of like a little roadmap of what you want to accomplish next year in 2021?
Uh, I'd love to get like at least 3 fights. That as far as goals go, like
Mhm.
just staying active is literally my only goal. Like, I don't think I'm gonna get a fight until they said it's gonna be 3 or 4 months until I'm
Mm.
kind of back like hard training. So it's going to be a little while until I get a fight, so I'd like to kind of stay active and get a few kind of back to back. I'm not gonna say catch up because obviously I've got plenty of time, but I do also like hate sitting out, and I feel like everyone's having fun and I'm missing out. So yeah, I'd love to have a few more fights next year, get a bit active. Like there's plenty of girls in the division, so I'm not gonna sit here calling anyone out in particular. I trust that my managers will sort it out, and we'll get some fun, exciting fights in the works soon, hopefully.
Exactly. I mean, that division, the strawweight, is a very strong division, so it might not be the worst thing to kind of just slowly work your way through it because those top dogs are some vicious killers, but you'll be up there way soon enough. I mean, 21, you got plenty of time to really get even better as a fighter, which is going to be a scary thought for those women in a few years here.
That's it. Like I say, I'm only at the start of my career. I'm like 21. I got plenty of years ahead of me to fight. So just making the smart decisions, and like you say, make sure I'm not rushing myself too fast. Like, I want to make sure, even just like say for longevity wise, I want to get 3 fights a year for the foreseeable. So just make sure I take those fights and make sure I'm making the right steps, and I'll get to the top eventually. But for now, I just want to be active and stay busy.
100%. I mean, if you're talking about having fun, maybe they're probably going to bring it back for next year. Maybe we can get you on the Fight Island card. Go out there to the desert in Abu Dhabi, maybe a little closer to home, and then have a little more fun on the beach for like a fight week, right?
I actually, for someone that's moved to California, the sun and the beach is probably two of my least favorite things.
Really?
Yeah, but no, but I'd love to go. Like say, it's a completely different experience. I know a lot of people aren't too keen on the travel, and like say it's not as fun because obviously you're isolating and everything. But I feel like you probably have a bit more freedom in Vegas. But also, the one thing I love about this sport is you do get to see the world. You know what I mean? Like even with Cage Warriors, I went to Belgium. I traveled around, like saw some places that I would never have kind of really actively gone to. So like, I feel like there's a lot more opportunities, like say with what we do. So yeah, like I probably never go to Abu Dhabi unless I got a fight. So it'd be cool to kind of have the opportunity to go there and see what's happening.
Now, just real quick, you say you're not much of a sun and beach kind of person, so are you more the California part where you like to go to the mountains and spend some more time up there, or
Um, for the most part, I'm in the gym.
so you don't
That is
have time for that?
that
Right.
is the reason. I've been to Tahoe a couple of times. Like obviously it's lovely up there. Like I do love the scenery. I love being out in the woods. I love hiking and stuff like that. But like especially because I'm normally coming out here just for training camps. So I've never really had that off season period out here. So normally I'm in the gym 6-7 days a week. From open to close. So I don't really have time to go and make the most of it. And then now obviously my ankle's blooming broken, so
Can't
I'm
really hike on that, right?
not going on any hiking, no. But once that's healed up and I'm back walking and stuff, I'm sure I'll make the most of what's around me.
Of course. I mean, you don't got time for any fun, right? The fun is in the gym. That's all we do.
That is
Train
my
twenty four
fun.
seven. Exactly.
Yeah, I was in the gym this morning, and one of the guys coming in, he's like, "You need a hobby," and I looked at him, I was like, "No, this is my hobby." I was like, I'm struggling right now." Yeah, like I'm even when I can't train, like, I'm sat on the side of the mats. Like I look miserable, but I'm sat on the side of the mats. So
That's. I mean, what better way to really do this? It sounds like this has been your entire life. Really, it's just been surrounded by the gym, whether being at the gym or traveling to the gym. So, I feel like it's just a good. It's not the worst habit to have.
no, exactly. I say it's my routine now. It's also where I'm comfortable. It's like it's where like say where I'm happy. It's where I'm used to being. So I'll be back in there like soon. Once I can start walking on it again, I'll be doing more than just single leg pressing and bench pressing and like everything that sucks when it's not what we want to do. But I'm working around. I'm working around it. I'm doing what I can.
I'm sure. I mean, at least you can get a little more upper body strength going. I guess you're probably going to focus on your legs a little bit more once and try to. I feel like the worst part's gonna be trying to balance out the legs again, huh?
Yeah, like I say, I'm doing a lot of single leg stuff, a lot of upper body work, and I can do like the cardio stuff on like the ski machines because I can do that seated.
Yeah.
Like, obviously it's not as good as doing 3 MMA practices a day, but like
Well, only
it'll
three.
suffice for now.
only someone like you're in there all day. You only get 3 practices in. Unbelievable.
So some of them, well, I've got a rule as well that if 2 sessions are back to back, it's 1 session, so the coach doesn't tell me off.
Hey, that's a good rule of thumb right there. Then kind of to end things, what I like to ask most fighters and athletes that we have on is there's a lot that goes into it, but it's also a lot of your career depends on the kind of the lasting image you leave on fans and people of members of the sport. So, Cory, what do you want your lasting legacy to be? No, it might be kind of hard to think about, just kind of pretty fresh into the sport, but do you have something in mind that you want to kind of leave as your imprint?
That's a new one. Uh, I don't know. Like I say, like the only like the one thing that I kind of pride myself on is like my work ethic. So I'd like to
Mm-hmm.
think that like, when all said and done, like people remember me for how hard I work, not for running my mouth or for doing like any of that stuff. Like, I turn up, I do the work. Like hopefully, obviously, the performances will keep kind of speaking for that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'd like to think that's what people kind of think of when they think of me. So probably that.
Cory McKenna, the workhorse. That's exactly. It really sounds like you're already well on your way of doing that with just your 3 kind of put down quotes too sometimes gym sessions a day. But with that being said, everyone, this has been the great Cory Poppins McKenna. I really do appreciate your time and best of luck with the ankle. And I know I could speak for all the listeners and then for most fans around the world, especially what we've seen from you in your couple fights in the UFC. We cannot wait to see you back inside that octagon and fighting and doing what you love again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on as well.